Hello, everybody. It's Kyle from Tavern TCG here today with Antyn. Buddy, how are you?
I'm doing good, Kyle.
Good. So we already recorded this video, but I didn't record any audio, so we're doing it again. So if I act drained, a little frustrated, that is why. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to repeat everything. Antyn was a good, solid player. He got second place at Houston, which was the largest Force of Will WGP to date. That got him over to Japan on a little aeroplane. Ooh, right. He landed there, loved it, played in the thing, had a good time at that event. And then he topped an ARG. Oh, Antyn, you love Force of Will.
Oh, yeah. Enough to talk about it for hours enough.
with this guy. All right. Well, the good thing is I know how to pronounce this ruler's name, which I didn't last time. So this is going to be much better. So let's get started. You see it on the screen now. That's right. Big spoiler moment. What are we doing today? We're talking about the spoilers. First impressions. You know, when you're on you're dating a girl, it's time to introduce her to your parents. Well, here we are. Papa Kyle, Daddy Antyn, and let's meet our let's meet our kids, multiple significant others. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is one on the screen. Friend from another world, Kaguya. I still pronounce it wrong, but we're gonna move past this. Judgment for one light, one moon, one colorless. You may spend moon as though it were wind, green. We love that little mana fixing. And then, of course, whenever a moon enters the field, you may draw a card. What do you think?
Okay, so, first off, the judgment cost isn't too high. It's fairly low. You can judge pretty early with that, especially with some of the other cards that came out with her as support. So, that's pretty good range. 3 is usually the most I usually want to pay for a judgment, unless,
it's ridiculous.
You do something crazy, yeah. But so that's not too bad. Spending moon as though it were wind is really powerful.
Absolutely.
Makes your moon shades not burn you to death if you're running a lot of wind stuff. Makes your moonlights actually produce something if that's the first thing you flip. And makes the other stone that we're going to get to later produce 3 different elements. So overall, mana fixing
pretty solid. Yeah, exactly. And also, of course, whenever a moon enters the field, you get to draw a card. That's solid. You get to draw. We don't know how good moons are yet. They might release a bunch of ridiculous moon cards, and then this is going to be our favorite thing ever. But for right now, ruler side, not bad. I think it's solid.
Decent, yeah.
Decent ruler side. Well, we really got to get under the hood with this one, I think, Antyn. So we're going to go and look at its J-ruler side. Boom. Wall of text. Let's read it.
Okay.
When you spend moon, you may spend moon as though it were wind. You have the same mana fixing on this side, which is awesome. Whenever you awaken a card, you put 2 100 counters on it. That's plus 100, plus 100. Then there's another effect. Pay 1 moon. Cancel target automatic ability. That's the Whopper. We'll talk about that in a minute. The next effect here, pay 1 white, 1 colorless, prevent the next damage that would be dealt to this card this turn. Then there's a God's Art. Let's just throw in more text. Light of the Sacred Moon. 1 white, 1 moon, 3 colorless. Rest all J/Resonators your opponent controls. Then, recover all magic stones you control. You may pay Awakening costs moon less this turn, so 1 less moon. And you can only play this God's Art, Light of the Sacred Moon, once per game. Antyn, that was a lot. I'm already hyperventilating about it. Tell me, what do you think?
Okay, so the mana fixing stays intact, which is good, awesome. Just like Blazer, not like Sylvia. So we like mana fixing all the time.
Yes.
The Awakening ability, we really haven't seen too many cards that came out. That we did see a couple that came out with this, but I wasn't too impressed by them personally, at least as a first impression. So right now, the Awakening ability seems like it could be really good. Specifically in regards to Matchstick Girl, because she can double awaken, pay nothing. She can choose to pay 0 as the cost, and for both of her enters, and give Kaguya a nice +4/+4 permanently. So that's really strong. And there might be a couple other interactions out there similar to that. I mean, you could use Etna, but I'd rather use Etna,
Yeah.
But not just pay nothing. But for Matchstick Girl, I mean, paying 2 to permanently give your J-ruler +4/+4 seems really good. So, I mean, we might see some more shenanigans like that come out of that ability. But right now, it seems it's good, not bad.
Yeah, it has application.
Of course.
It has application.
Right. Of course, the biggest thing is the canceling of automatic abilities. Some people might be confused as to what an automatic ability is. We have activated abilities in the game. People who are more or less familiar with those are. Automatic abilities are typically continuous abilities or things that trigger off of like a card moving to a certain location or entering the field. So everyone remembers Abdul, or for those that didn't, Abdul shut down all enter effects just all the time. And back then, there was no when this card enters the field. Everything was an enter effect.
Right.
So basically, he shut down anything that entered and triggered. All the time. Constantly. So people didn't like that. Became a really oppressive ruler. And so the ability to cancel those, I mean, granted you're paying now, but the ability to selectively cancel enters is really good. And it's not just enters for her, it's also continuous effects. So things like
Mephistopheles.
Mephistopheles. And his 500 damage burn for you targeting him, I mean, that can be relevant. Another big relevant one is obviously Lancelot.
Yep.
You can stop his, when he's at 1,000 sniping something, you can just turn that off. Yeah. So that's really good.
Be gone with that effect.
Yeah. So, I mean, it has a lot of application, being able to stop Cheshire Cats, drawing cards, being able to stop Cheshire Cat from shuffling in the deck, being able to, just all sorts of things. Nyarlathotep, any enter the field, anything that triggers in the grave, just a whole bunch of application for that ability. It's really versatile, and it's really, really strong if you can get her out early. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the next thing here is just prevent the next damage that would be dealt to this card. It's 1 white, 1 colorless. Not the best ability. Well, what is nice is she doesn't get killed by Flame of the Outer World because she's 900 defense, so that's good. Also, this could potentially shut off things that got rid of Abdul back in the day, where you double thunder, like we were talking before, Duel of Truth. So I mean, it gives you an option, right? And this is partly like Brian did a video I think last week where he talks about Reflect being a dynamic ruler. This gives you some options. This is some more dynamic effects, and I think it's good. Ultimately, I think I see this more as like an anti-meta ruler. I don't know if this is going to be top dog, but I think it'll be, one of the little guys you could sneak to the top, assuming, get some more good cards in this set. Let's talk about the God's Art, right? So you're paying 5 here. You get to rest all of the J/Resonator your opponent controls and recover all your magic stones you control, so it's kind of free. And then Awakening costs 1 less this turn. What do you think? 1 moon.
God's Art's pretty solid. I mean, the resting all your opponent's J/Resonators is pretty good.
Yeah.
It costs 5, so that is a lot. It does recover all your stones after you pay it, which is cool. Unless, of course, you get Glimpse of Kaguya, and that really sucks.
That's
Tap 5 for nothing. Right. But, it's essentially free. Rest your opponent's whole board, go for game. You also have that extra, you can pay your Moon Awakenings for 1 less. That's not super relevant unless you're running a lot of her support, which, as I said, the 2 cards that I've already seen thus far don't really seem like something I would run too much of, but maybe it could be relevant for other Moon Awakenings that we might see later on.
Absolutely.
Overall, though, it's not bad. It could see some use, and you might pull it off some games, and it might win you some games, but it's not something I would really say is what makes her stand out or something that you should be building around.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree there. Well, that's the ruler, right? Pretty good. Not disappointed. It's cool because it's the first ruler that's been spoiled so far, and I think they showed us something good. So I'm pretty fired up about this one. Really excited to see what other support she gets. Let's talk about the support we know she gets. This is Antyn's favorite card. That's right. He loves this card. It's also Adam Reiser's favorite card. Here at Tavern, we love Kaguya's Premonition. Did I say it right, Antyn?
Yeah, you got it. That's
Kaguya's. Yeah, I did. That's right. We love this card. We love everything about it. Antyn loves the art. I love the text, which I shall read to you now. It's 1 light. The target resonator gets plus 200, plus 400 until the end of the turn. Awaken for 1 moon. Prevent the next damage that would be dealt to that resonator this turn. For each 100 damage prevented this way, put a plus 100 counter on it. Beautiful. What do you think, Antyn?
So for a 1 light spell, a pump effect isn't really something that I'm too hyped about. +2/+4 is pretty decent stats. Can help you survive some stuff. But, I mean, for my spell slots in my deck, I'm usually looking for a kill or an out to something.
Right.
Not really just a pump. What I do like is the Awakening effect. Obviously, it synergizes with Kaguya's J-ruler side to give her some +1/+1 counters for you awakening a card.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen any spells thus far that actually have Awakening on them until this one. So that is pretty cool. It does, like you said, it prevents the damage, and then you get those +1/+1 counters. I like that Force of Will isn't implementing counters now. It's a thing that's been in Magic for a long time, obviously. Yeah. And that ability can be a massive tempo swing for you in certain situations. Blocking with like a cheap flyer, awakening that, blocking like a Gwyver or something basically makes your little cheap flyer Gwyver stats now, or more than Gwyver, because whatever your stats were plus the 12,
right?
12, yeah. Or even stopping a Lancelot 700 on one of your guys. It has application. I don't know if it's strong enough to actually be used in the deck, but it's definitely not a horrible card. I wouldn't say it's a great card either. Right. I do like I said, that it has synergy with Kaguya, and it could be something that might see play as a 1 or 2 of just for that tempo swing, and it can be something unexpected that could pull a game in your favor.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how playable the card is once things start to shape up, and we see get a little more grasp what the meta is. One thing I can tell you about this card is I wish in the morning I could awaken at instant speed.
Right.
Antyn, that was a solid joke. You see what I did? Because awakening, awakened. I'm tired.
I'm trying not to make the face that card is making.
All right. So next one. Next card we're going to be talking about. I'm a little disappointed that you didn't like that joke as much as I did, but we will talk about Shining Strike. That's right. We can first, right off the bat, way better art than the last card we were just staring at. So this is going to be much better for the audience and myself. Let's talk about this card, Shining Strike, right? 1 light, and here's the text. Choose 1. Rest target resonator, draw a card. Or rest target J/resonator, draw a card. Choose the second only if your J/ruler has Kaguya in its name. Beautiful. So right off the bat, this is a solid card. The fact that you also get to draw, like it just replaces itself, which is nice. Also, if you're running Kaguya, you get rewarded, and you can rest J resonators, which is pretty insane. What do you think, Antyn?
Yeah, so any card that replaces itself and gives you good value like that is a really solid card. Being able to tap down anything, or in Kaguya's case, obviously being able to tap down the J-rulers is really, really powerful.
Right.
I mean, you can stone lock them, similar to what, Bloody Snow White used to do, depending on how early they flip. Or just, being able to just tap down Valentina for a turn and not take all that damage is just really strong. Granted, Kaguya doesn't really have a big issue with Valentina, since she can just pay 1 moon and negate everything that Valentina does. But, that's just sad days for Valentine. But yeah, being able to rest their Bahamut or any kind of really quick ruler that's trying to get in on you is really, really powerful. And then drawing a card to replace itself, instant speed. I mean, there's really nothing you can complain about with this card other than maybe the translation. The text is kind of weird. The choose the second only if you're J-ruler. I mean, you could have just said rest target resonator, draw a card, or if your ruler's Kaguya, rest target J resonator instead. Could have saved a lot of text there. I don't know. It's kind of wonky wording, but
well, you know what they wanted to do. You know why it's written like this, Antyn, right?
Why?
You hate when I do this. The reason why it's written like that is because, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought because of your face. Okay, so the reason why they wrote it like that is because of the next card here, as I pivot, because I forgot my phrase, my train of thought. The next card here is, we're looking at the wrong card, but now we are still looking at the wrong card.
Oh my gosh, what card are we looking at? I don't even know what we're looking
Moon Breeze Elf. You love this card. This is a great card. It's an elf. It's 1 wind, which you could use a moon for if you're playing the ruler Kaguya. This card, it cannot be attacked, which makes it a better elf, and it produces a moon by tapping. What do you think of this card?
So, obviously, out of Kaguya is probably where you're going to get the most value out of this card because it literally becomes a dual producing Elvish Priest that can't be attacked. It's got the exact same stats as Priest, same cost, same type. But yeah, cannot be attacked. Is really good. A lot of people started using, target attack, specifically talking about Gerda, to take out those turn 1 priests just because of how crucial that is to certain deck right now. And so being able to not be attacked is really good. Obviously, you're still Thunderbait. You can still get decayed, but not being able to be attacked is still really good. Producing a moon, for any other deck, that's really just going to be producing a void. But out of Kaguya, being able to produce wind or moon, it's really, really good support for her. I can't see the deck not running it. Maybe if you're running some other, less control-y version, but I can definitely see if you're running like a kind of mid-range control Kaguya deck, or even like an Awakening Kaguya or anything, I definitely see you jamming this card. Really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think this card's solid. It does what you need it to do, which is all that matters. This card, on the other hand, I don't know if it falls in the same category. Night of the Solstice. It's 1 white, 2 colorless. Resonator, Were-Rabbit. This is cool. We get another Were-Rabbit in the picture. This is the ability. When this card enters your field, search your main deck for a moon, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle your main deck. Don't know if this card's really good because we don't know what other moons are out or are going to be coming out, but what do you think with what we got? What do you think of this card?
Well, with what we got, I'm not super impressed right now. I mean, like we said earlier, things that replace themselves are great.
Right.
She does replace herself. Granted, it's selective replacement, but it's still replacing herself. And tutoring can be really good in certain situations. Mm-hmm. But without seeing a lot of, we didn't really see any actual moon cards in these previews. And going and fetching like a Bloody Moon isn't too impressive to me right now. Her stats are okay, but she gets killed by Lance. Anything that's 7/7 post nerf gets killed by Lance. So for 3, I'm not super impressed. Were-Rabbit could be relevant. I mean, Rabbit Kick is still the best bounce card in the game, but right now she seems okay.
Yeah, not too thrilled with this one. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with this one. It's one to keep an eye out on, but we'll see like what actually ends up coming of it. But I can tell you something I do like. Wolf of the Moonlight. First of all, this art's sick. I think it's really cool art. But let's talk about its ability. It's 1 green, 1 colorless. It's a beast, and you can awaken for 1 moon. When this card enters your field, put an evolution counter on it. As long as there are one or more evolution counters on this card, it gains plus 300, and target attack. Antyn, you love evolution counters. Tell us about this card.
Right. So it's a beast.
Yes, it is.
Right. I mean, it has that bonus trait which can work with the other beast support we got in the last set.
Right.
I wasn't too big a fan of the evolution counter mechanic. The last set, it hasn't really done anything currently. But I could definitely see some of the evolution support helping out this guy, because, I mean, he does become an 8/8 target attack is really good, as we've seen with Gareth in the past. And, I mean, the awakening cost is kind of a lot, like paying 3 for an 8/8 target attack.
It's kind of expensive.
It's respectable, but I mean, I'm not too impressed with him right now.
Right.
Like I said, I think he's better if you're running him in an actual dedicated evolution counter deck. Being able to drop him turn 2, then like drop that Persia that puts an evolution counter on him to just make him go into the 8/8 target attack, on turn 3. It's probably a better line of play than actually awakening him. But I mean, you do get the counters if you have Kaguya flipped already, and you can pay that. You can, do away with the moon cost if you've actually used your Kaguya's God Art. So I mean, he does synergize with her a little, but he's probably better in another deck.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you're being pretty nice to this card. Maybe something great will come off. I think we have to be careful in general because we haven't seen all the spoilers yet, but you're being very nice. This card, I think, is pretty bad, but it could be good. We'll see. What I'm going to talk about is my favorite of all the spoiled cards, not because of effect, not because of art, no, but because of the name. That's right. Interdimensional Vessel, Apollo. Maybe this foreshadows some Greek mythology. We had Apollo. Maybe we'll have Zeus, Hercules, Kyle the Greek. That's me. I could be in the set. Who knows? There's more to come. We'll keep you posted on that. But what I can tell you is that this is going to give your J-ruler flying. That's right. First ability, give your J-ruler flying. Second, you can tap to produce a moon. Spend this wheel only to pay awakening costs or to play judgment or god arts abilities of J/rulers with Kaguya in their name. Or you can tap it, banish this card, return target resonator you control to its owner's hand. That's solid as well. You can reuse some of your cards, play them again. Also, you can dodge Hera, which is nice, so they won't get a draw for playing that card. Antyn, what do you think?
So, I mean, when the 28 Regalia deck first came out, I jokingly told my friends, I wish I had a free card to give me flying. And everybody had a good laugh because, of course, that would be nuts, right? And so now we have that, and it's really strong. I mean, people played Bahamut because of his flying. People were playing 28 Regalia out of Arla because it was arguably better than Melgis or the other ones, simply because you had flying. Getting over Cheshire Cats and things like that is really relevant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now we have it, and it's actually not bad. I mean, it doesn't give you imperishable. It doesn't pump you in any way. So that's good. That was at least good design choices on their part.
Yeah.
It is free, so that's good and bad. Good in the sense that, obviously, it's free for you.
Right.
Bad in the sense that it's a Terra target, because Terra, of course, can only target things that cost 0.
Right.
So... yeah, it's a really powerful card. Being able to give your Valentina, the Regalia one, flying is going to be really relevant. Obviously, she can tutor this out, so it's not like she has to jam max copies or anything.
Right.
And yeah, that's mostly what it's going to be used for.
So here's a question: in heavy Regalia decks, do you think Kaguya might be a better choice than some of the other ones we have available to us now? Because you get the cancel ability, you get to use this moon to do stuff. What do you think?
It could definitely be a possibility, especially because of the second. the second effect, because you get to produce the moon, and you can spend it for awakening costs, or you can spend it for judgments, and you can spend it for god art abilities. Of rulers with Kaguya. Obviously, the god art in a regalia deck is probably going to be even less useful than in a normal Kaguya.
Do you think? I was thinking like you could rest all their stuff. That's pretty good. Lets you swing in for a bunch of damage.
Yeah, but if you have the flying,
yeah, that's irrelevant then at that point.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, I guess on their turn, being able to tap down their whole field on their turn could be relevant. I think Adam, Brian, and Quinn are cool.
All right, well, let's hang up on them and get to the next card.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, this is a solid regalia.
Yeah, it's really good.
Zero
and like
cost.
You said, having a banish effect is solid because you dodge the Hera draw effect, and bouncing your own resonator for protection or just reusing of enter abilities can be abused too.
Absolutely. All right, the last one here, as we reach near the 30-minute mark, Moon Breezes Memoria. It produces a moon. It produces a white. Let's talk about this card for about 15 minutes. Okay. All its uses, how it can combo with everything. All right, it's just a good stone. We can run 4 of them.
Good stone. It produces wind, of course, if you're using Kaguya. Really good. Probably going to see play in her deck.
So it would probably be 4 of this, 4 Moonshades, 2 Moonlights. You're welcome. I built your stone deck. Antyn, anything else that we should talk about before I hang up on you?
I think that's it. We should have some new spoilers really soon.
Right.
Probably going to be the Dark Ruler, I think. So I guess me and Kai will be back to talk to you guys about that.
Well, I can't wait. Let's see how that goes. I think they get spoiled tomorrow because we're doing this on Monday. Tuesday is a spoiler day, I think. So we're fired up about that. That's it. First impressions. First wave of spoilers. Good. I'm fired up about it. I think Antyn's fired up about it. He's kind of the quiet type, so he won't tell you his true feelings, but I'll tell you his feelings. He loves it. And I love it. And you love it now because you know about it. That's it. We'll be back next time there's a spoiler. Antyn, it was good chatting with you. Tavern out. Same with Kitty.